Hey Libra, it's Zahara Stars with the Libra Astrology doing your April 2019 astro weather forecast. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you had a fantastic March. Mercury was retrograde and man, that was just pure chaos. Pure, absolute chaos for me. Mercury retrograde usually doesn't give me many problems. However, I do have a lot of my planets in the third house. That's Mercury ruled. My sun, my moon, my Mercury, my Venus. So typically Mercury retrograde tends to fare pretty well for me, but this time, complete insanity. Complete insanity. Obstacle after obstacle, breakdown after breakdown. It was pure chaos, okay? So I hope you guys did much better than I did. I'm doing April 2019, even though it's in the ending of March, but I wanted to do this because I couldn't catch up with March. So let's just get right into it, okay? April is going to be a huge month, huge, okay? And it's going to be crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane primarily because we're going to have three major players turn retrograde. We're beginning retrograde mania, retrograde season. So there's a lot of rewinding, a lot of going back, a lot of revisiting, a lot of going back and finishing projects that we started. Remember that retrogrades are always about going back, mending, fixing, repairing, doing better, you know, finishing out things. Okay, so that's what retrogrades are all about, and that's the purpose of them. So the big Lord Saturn, the planet of karma, father of time, is going to turn retrograde. Pluto is going to turn retrograde, and Jupiter is going to turn retrograde, and not necessarily in that order. The first one to turn retrograde is going to be Jupiter, and that's going to turn retrograde on the 10th of April. And Jupiter is all about expansion, luck, fortune, philosophy, politics, doing the right thing, travel. And when Jupiter is retrograde, we tend to create our own luck. We tend to create our own luck during this time period, but we also go back and review a lot of things in that area. Now, missed opportunities that were fortunate will come back to you during Jupiter's retrograde motion. And Jupiter for you guys is in your third house of communication, local environment, siblings, technology, your local neighborhood, your neighbors. So you guys have been having a lot of, excuse me, as my throat has been bothering me lately, so I'm kind of clearing it constantly, and I apologize. You guys have been having a lot of activity in your third house, which has to do with driving, computers, writing, you know, anything that's to do with cerebral matters, mental matters as well, your perception, communication, and then also your siblings. So some of you may have been spending more time with your siblings, if you have any, may have been spending more time driving. I see a lot of people driving a lot more, whether you get a new job somewhere or you're looking for a job or you're just visiting friends, driving a lot because the third house is of driving. It's a good time to buy a new car. It's a good time to renew your lease or do any of those types of things as well. But with Jupiter in your third house, you're looking at a very busy time of optimism though too, okay? But a very busy time communicating, writing, driving, socializing, okay? But also really doing a lot of positive thinking, okay? Because Jupiter is all about optimism, faith, hope, all those things. So when Jupiter is transiting your third house, you tend to be a lot more optimistic. Now, you may have other transits occurring in your chart that's making you not feel so optimistic, which is very possible. But Jupiter there really lets you be able to learn faster, communicate with optimism, believe in yourself, you know, definitely for learning new subjects as well. I want to throw that in there because a lot of you could really absorb information with Jupiter transiting your third house. So Jupiter is going to be transiting there. As he turns retrograde, you're going to be reviewing all these areas, and that's going to be on the 10th. When he turns back retrograde, you could get clients from the past. You could get people that want to contact you from the past. A lot of things, redo projects that you started. If you were writing a book or, you know, writing, doing your websites or anything like that, you'll be revisiting and redoing them and trying to improve them. Okay, so it's a good time to redo and improve during all these retrogrades, okay? Because it's not really the best time to start new projects. It's the best time to go back and fix them, make them better, okay? So While Jupiter is retrograde, it will be for approximately 5 months, okay? And then next planet that we have that's going to turn retrograde is going to be Pluto, and it's going to turn retrograde on the 24th. And Pluto is all about how we handle our power. It has to do with other people that have power over us. It has to do with intense experience, drama even. So all these areas in your life that I'm talking about, this is where you'll be reviewing, okay? Any areas in your life where you've been having drama, you've been having red tape attached to things, maybe you're in a situation where somebody's been having control over you in some way, any type of people that are like, that are not really in for your best interest, or perhaps are difficult to deal with, controlling, dominating, bossy. When Pluto turns retrograde, these people tend to flare up. They tend to flare up, and you have to let go of them. And you'll have to end these situations. You'll have to end these attachments that are unhealthy. Pluto is all about intense experience. So often when right before Pluto turns retrograde, that intense experience pops up. If you are associating with anybody that is Plutonic or heavy Pluto, or that has control over you in some way, whenever Pluto goes retrograde, you'll be asked to let go of it no matter the cost. Like if it's a job and you're with a boss who's very difficult to work with, who's been really, laying it on thick, and controlling you or micromanaging you or any of the stuff, then your boss could really act up. And some of you might be asked to leave your current job. Or if it's worth it, you got to weigh the pros and cons. If you have any financial attachments to somebody who's been harboring on you and controlling you as a result of this, when Pluto turns retrograde, this person could start coming at you like, hey, where's my money? Here's what's in this. And you'll have to address the situation and let go of that person, or let go of the financial attachment. You can't have any red tape with Pluto, okay? Pluto also can bring back intense experiences or relationships with people from the past while it turns retrograde. You'll be reviewing your personal power of how you've been using it up until this far, and what kind of power you've been giving away to others. That's primarily what Pluto's about. He's also about setting proper boundaries with other people, standing up for yourself, setting proper guidelines, what you're willing to accept for what, and not willing to accept for what not. He's like the temptation. I'll give you all this money for a piece of your soul, and you have to decide whether or not it's worth it to you. But also it's about gaining your own personal power, standing up for yourself, defending yourself, and fighting for a cause used positively. So while Pluto's retrograde, you'll be reviewing how you've been using your power, what power do others have over you, and why, and where you can let go of these things and free yourself from it. And then later on in the month, on the 29th, Saturn in Capricorn is going to turn retrograde. And Saturn is heavy duty in retrograde. He's the Lord of Karma. He's not necessarily bad. It all depends on where you are in your life. If you've been lining up all your ducks, doing all of the things that you're supposed to do, Saturn retrograde will give you an opportunity to go back and build solid foundations in whatever it is that you started, whatever it is you're working on. Okay, if you're at work and you started a project a few months ago, you may go back and start that project over, or go back and make it better, make improvements, make adjustments, do stuff like that. Saturn is also, when he turns retrograde, even though at first initially you can kind of feel the heaviness of him, later on as he starts going further and further back into your chart, you'll start to notice that things start lightening up more, because Saturn, when he's in direct motion, he's putting the pressure on. He's like, get it done, push forward. He's really about pushing forward, hard work. Okay. He's about doing the hard work, karma, and building things that are solid. So when he's in retrograde, he gives you an opportunity to go back and rebuild things that maybe you started, or go back and repair even relationships with other people. Go back and finish those projects. Just whatever it's going to be, there's a lot of rewinding. So plant those seeds during retrograde motion. I don't say necessarily if you have to start a new job or you're going to start something new, it's totally fine. Don't put anything on hold. Okay. But it's a good time to go back and prepare, go back and redo. Like if you're looking for a job, go back and check out your resume. Is it as good as it could be? Saturn's all about refinement and perfectionism too. So you want to go back and refine things and make them better. So previous to you going out and looking for that job, it's a good time for you to, when he turns retrograde, to go back and make sure that your resume is up to par and that you have a list of companies that you want to go apply to. All that stuff is what Saturn really wants you to do, is to prepare, refine, and perfect. So those are going to be the main things going on. We are going to have a new moon April 5th in your partnership marriage sign in Aries. And that, of course, anytime there's a new moon, they provoke, depending upon what the sign is, it's in Aries, which is all about courage, will, energy, but can be conflict. So you know, we're going to have a lot more courage over the next, 6 weeks or so from the new moon until from the new moon till the full moon. You're going to feel a little bit more courageous. You're going to have a lot more energy. You're going to be a lot more direct. Okay, but also for you guys, it's opening up new doors in your relationship houses. Okay, so for those of you that are in a relationship, you can renew your relationship or take it to the next level. For those of you that are not in a relationship, new opportunities for a partner are going to open up for you. For those of you that are in unhealthy attachments and business partnerships, this new moon can end that relationship. Okay, it all depends on where you are. It all depends on, and you know where you are. If you're in a partnership that you're kind of, second guessing and you're like, I don't know, or it's on the rocks in some way, this new moon can definitely put an end to it, because new moons are endings and beginnings. Okay. So as the door closes, new doors open. So don't worry if anything ends, new things open up, and it's usually for your betterment. Okay. If you're in a relationship that's unhealthy or on the rocks too, that relationship can come to an end as well. So you do want to try to iron out any kinks in any relationships previous to the new moon, if possible, on the 5th of Aries, on the 5th of April in Aries. Okay, your partnership house. And then at the on the 19th, you're gonna have your full moon in your sign in Libra, and that's gonna be at 4:12 a.m. And this is actually really good for seeking favors from superiors. So it's a really good moon for that, ideally, because of the aspects that it's having. But it's going to be at 4:12 a.m. In your sign on the 19th. Full moon illumination. Okay, revelations are going to come to you. Some good news can definitely come to you. It's a very well aspected moon. But it's really early in the morning at 4:12 a.m. So that's when it's going to be at full illumination, because by the time it reaches 5:40 a.m., the moon is going to move into Scorpio. And Scorpio for you guys is in your second house of money. So a lot of you could be hearing about some money too on this full moon, because it's going to change signs pretty quickly. So it could be illuminations, revelations made for you. It's also opposing your seventh house of marriage and partnerships, where you're having that new moon. And then it's also going to aspect, or at least carry into your second house of money in Scorpio. So you guys can expect to hear something about money. Money could be coming in, extra money somehow, some way. But this full moon is really about you guys setting your intentions on what it is you want to accomplish. Okay, full moons are full illumination for you to put out that energy into the universe about what it is you want to accomplish. Write down your goals and put that out there. Okay, that's what they're really best used for. So what else do we have going on? We have, okay, so for you guys, Venus, I always love to talk about the fun planets. Venus is the planet that brings us beauty and grace and money and love. So Venus for you guys, Venus is going to be transiting in Pisces. This month is going to be a very creative month, because there's a lot going on in Pisces. Pisces is all about spirituality, faith, compassion, sensitivity, and creativity. We tend to be very creative in terms of our thinking, in terms of very romantic too, because Pisces is very romantic. Okay, so it's going to be a really romantic month, a very sensitive month, a very compassionate month overall, while Venus is transiting in Pisces. So for you guys, this is your sixth house of health, fitness, and wellness, along with your daily routine. Okay, so while Venus is transiting there, this is always a good time to start a diet, to start working out if you haven't been already. You tend to pay attention to the details a lot more. Venus is, the sixth house is the house of Virgo, which is about perfectionism. And if you know Virgos, they tend to notice flaws really quickly. So while Venus is transiting there, you'll be really paying attention to the details. So it's a good time to clean out stuff, organize stuff. I mean, you'll be noticing lint on your shirt. You'll be like, oh, this lint. I mean, you really pay attention to details. And when it comes to dating and going out and dating, you're going to notice flaws and faults in your partner or in your new dates with Venus transiting the 6th house. So you will become more particular when it's looking for, when you're out there dating. For those of you that are single, you'll be a lot more particular about the people that you date and go out with. You'll be a lot more neat and organized. You'll crave organization while Venus is transiting there. Neatness and organization. So a lot of people tend to do cleaning, organizing. You know, it's a good time to set up stuff, do your schedule, okay, because it has to do with the daily routine too. So it's rescheduling your stuff. You'll really pay attention to the details while Venus is transiting your 6th house. But also good for, like I said, changing health habits, diet, all that stuff. You'll see good results while Venus is transiting the 6th house. It also makes working out more fun, more pleasurable. You can meet a love interest at the gym or doing your daily routine, because wherever Venus transits is where you'll find love, or you're more likely to as well. So doing your daily routine, you know, at the gym, any health food stores or anything that has to do with that, is a good place for you to meet love for the month of April. Okay, but you are having this new moon that's going to happen in your 7th house of marriage and partnership. So overall, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of movement happening there, a lot of new opportunities coming for love for those of you that are single. For those of you that are involved, like I said, you could take your relationship to the next level, or get more serious or something like that. Mercury is going to be transiting still in your 6th house as well. So there is a lot going on in the 6th house along with Neptune. So there's a lot of focus on organization, neatness, getting things, getting fit, getting healthy. All this types of stuff are really favored during that time. And the sun is transiting in Aries. So that's definitely your relationship partnership house again. Okay. And we're looking at you shining in your partnerships, in your relationships. It's a good time to find a new business partner. It's a good time to go out dating, okay, while the sun is there, because you're a lot more confident. You're coming across very confident. Relationships tend to do really well. You tend to be very confident in your partnerships overall with the sun. So there is a strong focus on relationships, organization, neatness, you know, health, fitness, all that stuff. And then, of course, with Jupiter in your 3rd house of travel, communications, technology, buying new cars, buying computers, all that stuff is really favored with Jupiter there. So when Jupiter turns retrograde, it's a good time to do all that stuff too, to update all your equipment. I wanted to throw that out there as well. To update your phone or things like that. Anything that has to do with getting information to and from, getting information out there, okay? Uranus has moved into Taurus, so this is a big move, okay? It's a big move because it's changing signs from Aries, where you guys had it in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships, which can affect your relationships in a way where they're on and off, they're here and they're gone, they're inconsistent, they're hard to nail down. You may have wanted more freedom in your relationships than you have before. You may have had a lot of partners that were inconsistent. Now you're going to be happy to have Uranus out of there. I can tell you that much. Now Uranus is moved into your 8th house of other people's money, resources, banks, institutions, credit cards, loans, all that stuff. So expect the unexpected with Uranus. Uranus is all about unpredictability. So like, you can't really predict what Uranus is going to do, because right when you think you got it down, he's mixing it up. But Uranus is definitely about, when it comes to banks, institutions, credit cards, loans, you could get sudden offers out of the blue, okay, unexpected, all right? You want to be careful about taking too high a risks when it comes to spending over the next 5 years, like, you know, pie in the sky thinking about gambling, about investing, about all this stuff, because there is a strong possibility you could have a big win, okay, big money, because like I said, Uranus is all about what you're not expecting. So if you're not expecting to win, you're likely going to win. If you're expecting to win, you're likely to lose. It's kind of like that. Uranus is just, you know, whichever way the wind blows. You know, he wants to give you something different than what you've been experiencing. So let's say, for instance, you're somebody that never invested in the stock market. You've always been kind of afraid to do so. You know, you're always like, no, I just don't want to take that risk. Well, when Uranus goes there, you'll take the risk. You're more than likely going to take the risk. And it's good because he's trying to open you up to possibilities. Like, hey, if you don't try it, you're not going to know. you know, and this is also lotto money. So you might get into buying lotto tickets. There's a lot of things, your partner's money. And for those of you that are married, this is also the money that your partner makes. So your partner could suddenly come across bigger money, or suddenly come across a cut in money, or you guys can suddenly decide that you want to separate your money. There's just a lot of different things that can happen. But overall, Uranus is going to bring change, a lot of change in this area. So you can look at some big growth. Okay, I've seen people win a lot of money or make a lot of money investing with Uranus there. And, you know, but I've also seen the reverse. So it really depends. You want to just kind of make sure that you're not being too erratic, because Uranus is all about breaking free, breaking the rules, unpredictability, erratic behavior. So you might start feeling a chomping at the bit, like, oh, I want to go gamble, or I want to go invest, or I want to buy lotto tickets, or I want to just do something different with my money, because that's what happens. And that's good. It's always good. But you just want to try to think things through and make sure that you're not just, you know, you don't want to get too crazy. You don't want to get too crazy, because Uranus transits make us crazy, okay? I have Uranus square my sun, and when I was younger, I was crazy. But it's just, you just need the thrill. You need the thrill of something new. It's like you want to spice things up. Uranus is all about trying something different, going a different route than what you've been doing. He doesn't like the mundane, consistent, everyday consistency. So you're going to start thinking outside the box, okay, about how to make more money. You might get new investors. You might get a new business partner. You might start a new business. You might start a new business idea. You could start investing. There's a lot of things you could do, okay? But you just want to be careful not to get too erratic and too crazy. That's really it. Mars will be transiting your 9th house of long-distance travel, foreign things, politics. The 9th house is really about learning from doing, okay? Like expanding your horizons through experience. But it's also about higher learning. So some of you could decide to take a course, learn something new. Some of you might be going back to school, for those of you that it applies, or decide to take a course, or decide to put time into learning something new, regardless of what it is. Maybe you want to further your career. You want to learn something new in that area. Some of you will be traveling or making plans to travel. Mars is pure Martian energy, just where we are putting our energy. So you're going to be putting a lot of energy into the 9th house, which is about travel, learning something new, philosophy, belief systems, all that stuff. You might start researching or studying more, putting a lot more effort into learning something new, expanding your mind. You're just going to be curious, very curious while Mars is transiting your 9th house. And that's going to be on April 1st. Mars is actually going to move into your 9th house. So that's what we have for planetary action. Now, Pluto and Saturn are both going to turn retrograde in your 4th house of home, family, and your early childhood upbringing. Okay, so the 4th house is, you know, a lot of you have been doing transformation. Maybe you've moved over the past, well, Pluto's been in that house for approximately 10 years now. So it's been a long time you've been dealing with Pluto, and probably you're already over most of it. When it first originally started, you may have had drama in the home, or something dramatic happened 10 years ago. You have to kind of go back and think about that. But Saturn is all about, you know, solid foundations and structures. So, you know, if you moved into a new house, you could have had some work that had to be done on it. But it's also about solidifying your family. If you've been spending a lot of time with your family, or you live close to family, sometimes people move away from their family with Saturn's transit there. But it's really about finding a home. If you don't have a home, you're really going to want one. You're really going to want a home with Saturn's transit in the 4th house of home, okay? If you don't have a family, you're really going to want a family. If you know, whatever it's going to be, Saturn is about building, you know, solid foundation structures, doing the right thing, you know, and, you know, so there's a lot of things, home improvements, that are usually typical with Saturn transiting the 4th house. Moves are common, you know, kind of making the home more austere, you know, usually with Saturn there. But any repairs and stuff, upgrades, if you own your own home, trying to remodel it, make it worth more, that's typical with Saturn there too. It can, in some cases, put family stresses if there's issues within the family, trying to provoke you guys to fix or work out these issues, or if separation's necessary temporarily as well. Whatever it is, Saturn will test that area. So Saturn testing your 4th house of home is really about making things solid, okay, in the home area. So those are the major players. So when they turn retrograde, you're going to be reviewing things in the home. Maybe you want to buy new furniture. Maybe you want to fix something. Maybe you need to fix something when the planets turn retrograde. Maybe there's a family member you haven't talked to in a while that you want to reach out to and fix things there. All of that stuff, remember, it's about going back, fixing, repairing, and fixing. So there's a lot of really awesome aspects happening this month. As I said, the month is a lot of aspects happening with Pisces, which is all about the dream world, fantasy, illusions, dream time. You know, it's elated experiences. It's just very creative. So for those of you that are in the arts, this month is going to be a really good month. If you're thinking about writing a creative novel or making a short film or making a movie or being in a movie, if you're an actor, anything like that, it's an awesome month because you're going to really be able to tap into your creativity. Okay, so on the 2nd, the first, Mars is going to move into your 9th house. On the 2nd, Mercury in Pisces is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And this is our mind and Neptune. Okay, so Mercury's already in Pisces, Neptune's ruler. And then we have it conjunct at the same degree as Neptune in Pisces. So they're going to be both in the same house. So in Pisces, we're talking about your 6th house of health, fitness, and wellness. Okay. So this is a day where you know, your routine also. You may not really want to stick to the routine on this day because Pisces is really about, you know, fantasy land, kind of like dreamy, not real good with the details. Okay. Not real good with the details. So you guys already have Pisces in your 6th house. Okay. So a lot of you may be, you know, you may have a larger concept of details. You may see the big picture when it comes to details. You might be that way when it comes to getting things done. You have a certain amount of glamour and prestige around it because Pisces and Neptune are about elated experiences, glamour, beauty, you know, all the perfect puffy blue sky and the clouds, you know, ooh, it's like that rainbows. That's what Pisces and Neptune are all about. Also about compassion and sensitivity. So on this day, you just don't want to have to do anything that requires a lot of focus and detail. If you're going to be writing out a script or writing a book or writing a love letter or spending time with your romantic partner, it's perfect. Okay, so schedule any romantic partner perfect dates like that on the 2nd, but don't do any contracts or review contracts or things that require details because you tend to drift off a little bit or it's just difficult to focus. On the 7th, Mercury in Pisces again is going to sextile Saturn. So if you want to sign a contract or you want to review a contract, that would be a better day to do it on the 7th. If you already had the contract previous to this and you already went through it, reviewed it, whatever it is, or anything that you had to pay attention to detail on previous to this day, that's fine because you already reviewed it previous to this day and you can sign it on that day. That's fine. But the 7th would be a better day if you were to get something on that day, then, you know, it would be okay for you to review it because Saturn always grounds and makes you more focused and is about refinement, paying attention to details. On the 10th, Venus in Pisces is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So this is highly romantic again. So this is a day to set up a romantic date again. Also to start any creative projects or to finish out any creative projects. Also because Venus is in your 6th house of paying attention to the details. So it's a really good day for any creative endeavors, romantic plans, even to do something for charitable cause or to do some sort of charity work. It's a really good day. It's also a good day to have a difficult conversation with somebody that maybe you're not expecting the best results from. Because on this day, they're going to be a lot more sensitive and compassionate. So if there's something that you want to talk about or ask for or anything like that where you really need the person to be softened up a little bit, that's the day. That's the 10th. And it could also be on the 2nd. The 2nd and the 10th would be 2 good days to, you know, have that difficult conversation. And on the 10th, Jupiter is going to turn retrograde. So yeah, even though Venus in Pisces will be conjunct Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter is going to turn retrograde. So I don't see it still being a problem of asking for something that you know, or having a conversation with somebody. Because Jupiter is actually going to turn retrograde, it's a good time to go back and have those conversations anyway. So the 10th, Jupiter turns retrograde. And On the 11th, Mercury in Pisces is going to square Jupiter in Sagittarius. So again, this is another pie in the sky transit. This is why I'm saying this month is really good for creative endeavors, romantic endeavors, painting, coloring, you know, all of that stuff, writing poetry. It's really, 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 really awesome for those things. It's just not really detail-oriented stuff. So it is a highly romantic month. That's the way I look at it. Very highly romantic. But Mercury in Pisces, the Mercury is our mind, our perception, how we communicate, technology, all that stuff is going to square Jupiter, who expands everything, makes everything bigger. So, and it's in Sagittarius. So everything's larger than life on this day. Larger than life. Anything is possible. We're going to do it. Just be careful about doing anything too risque if you wouldn't have normally thought about doing it beforehand. But you're going to believe it's going to work on this day, because Pisces is all about, I believe it, I'm going to see it. You know, if you believe it, you'll see it, which is true. So I'm not going to tell you not to, you know, not to believe that anything is possible, because anything is. Just make sure that, you know, you think things through a little bit. On the 12th, Venus in Pisces is going to sextile Saturn in Capricorn, which is a much more stable day to make a long-term commitment, to sign a contract as well. It's really good for art as well, because Saturn and Venus in a very pleasant aspect, as such as the sextile in Pisces, it's a very creative aspect again. So it's really good. You guys might, because Venus is in your, this is all happening from your 6th house, okay? From your 6th house of daily routine, fitness, organization, refinement, perfectionism, all this stuff. And then Saturn is in your 4th house of home when this happens. So some of you could do some new home decorations, some new, you know, you may want to soften out the environment at home, you know, at this time. But it's a good day to go shopping for home stuff, because Venus is always, if you'll find good things with Venus. Venus is all about beauty and glamour and all the, you know, our aesthetics. And it's also your ruler. So, that's a good day to do home shopping or improvements or buying beauty products, even stuff like that. On the 14th, Venus in Pisces is going to sextile Pluto in Capricorn, which is a smoldering day for love and romance, because Pluto is all about intense experience and Pisces all about, I'm down for it, let's go. Anything's possible. Highly romantic and passionate. That's a highly romantic and passionate day. I probably would schedule my romantic affairs on that day. But also, it's good because Pluto likes to look behind the scenes and the veils that Neptune puts up. Neptune's like, everything's great and grand and beautiful. And Pluto's like, I don't know. Let's move this curtain out of the way and see what's behind that. So it's a really good day just for anything, really, because Pluto's the investigator of the zodiac, and he likes to see what's behind the scenes. But he's also very passionate, very intense. And with Venus, it could be a very smoldering day for romance. Smoldering, okay? On the 17th, Mercury is going to enter Aries. So that's going to be occupying your 7th house of partnership, marriage. So it's a good day to sign contracts with partners, stuff like that, if you're going to be signing a contract with a partner. But also communicating and spending time with friends. The 7th house is also close friends and associates too, and marriage partners and business partners. So Mercury is going to enter there, and then Venus is going to follow on the 20th. So you're going to have, from the 20th, well, let's see. Yeah, Mercury on the 17th. So starting on the 17th, your relationship house is going to be hit. It's going to be hit positively with Mercury and Venus, and the Sun is still going to be finishing out there. So for those of you single and looking for a partner, it's a really good time to find a romantic partner. For those of you looking for a business partner, from the 20th on, it's a really good time. And you can probably start having communications about it or with this person from the 17th, but the 20th is really going to favor it. Those of you that are already in a long-term relationship, you know, talking about marriage and stuff is very possible while Venus transits the 7th house, or at least having those conversations. It's just a really good time for your partnership, marriage, or anything. Be more romantic. You guys will be more diplomatic with each other. You'll be more considerate of each other. And while Venus transits there, you spend a lot more time with your friends. Your friends are accommodating. Your friends are beneficial. Your business partners are beneficial. And your romantic partner is beneficial, along with your marriage partner. So it's a great time for relationships of all kinds. So all kinds. So starting on the 17th, relationships are going to be a big focus. On the 24th, Pluto is going to turn retrograde, like I said, and that's in Capricorn, and that again is in your 4th house of home. So reviewing things at home. Any power struggles at home, you're going to want to let go of those, okay? Neighbors giving you problems, you're going to want to fix that situation. Any remodeling or stuff like that, it's a good time to do it while Pluto is retrograde, okay? Any home remodeling, breaking down walls, tearing down things. Pluto likes to break things down and rebuild them. He's the volcano that explodes, burns everything away, and then there's fresh ground to grow brand new, wonderful things on, right? So anything you want to break down and repair and fix in the home environment, that's a good time to do it. So there's a lot of that happening for you guys during these retrogrades, to be able to go back and fix things, repair things within the home and family. And then on the 27th, Mars in Gemini is going to square Neptune in Pisces. And this is a day where we feel like we don't know what we're doing or where we're going. Our actions can feel a little bit slowed down. We might feel like we lost our direction, or we may not be as aggressive as we normally would be. It's kind of a day where you want to kick back and relax, okay? But it's also a really good day for any creative endeavors. Again, this is such a creative month. I just keep saying it over and over because that's what it is. If you want to start a new creative project, it's a great time to do it. If you're going on an audition, fantastic. If it has, you know, a music concert, anything like that, any art of the arts, fantastic. Even sports, you can come up with some creative moves with Neptune, because Neptune blurs the boundaries. So if you're a person that's, you know, really structured in your movements, Neptune will help you break free of those. So it's good for dance too, anything like that. And then on the 29th, Saturn in Capricorn is going to turn retrograde. So we already talked about that, what it's going to be doing for your home environment, improving things, rebuilding things, adding things, just anything like that within the home for the next 5 months is going to be on par for you guys. But please also listen to your rising sign, because those houses will be affected too. And whatever transits are happening there, those houses will be affected by the planets, but they'll be in different houses. So make sure you listen to those too, because both of them will be happening at the same time, okay? And then the full moon in your sign on the 19th. Woohoo! Exciting. Illuminations, realizations, brand new starts. Put out your intentions, okay? Put out your intentions for what it is that you want. You're gonna see that full moons and new moons have a ton of power to help you manifest the things that you want in your life. So definitely use that energy, okay? So I hope that you guys found this helpful. Make sure to listen to your ascendant sign also. And if you'd like your own personal reading, you can visit my site at www.illumastrology.com. Or just to read all about astrology. If you know your own chart, you can check out your transits. I have a very in-depth website about all the transits, and you can read about those to get further insights with regards to your personal transits. But otherwise, I'm wishing you guys an awesome April 2019. Sending you lots of love. Until next time.